Ladies and gentlemen, I am Star-Lord New Thor 7, your planetary defense commander, and I work for your tips. Yeah, that sounds really weird, but it is 2018. And I was born in America, Illinois to be specific, but I got to Texas as soon as I could. But I consider the whole world my home, really. And for 5.75 years, I've been trying to get people to come together to meet these earth weather challenges we are facing. And it has been an uphill struggle. And though I planted a lot of seeds, they have not yet taken full bloom. And so, during like the last 2 years, for a while I was in the West Coast, in Silicon Valley, when the dam got damaged and almost broke, and then it would then flood out a ton of people. Major catastrophe was averted, but the potential was there. And I was there documenting it every step of the way. And it was weird, and it was scary. And then, just about a month ago, if even that, in Laos, a country much poorer than ours, had a $1 billion dam that was being built fail and then kill a whole lot of people. I don't remember the exact government statistics, but if we learned one thing from Puerto Rico, it's that it is best not to trust government statistics. So when Puerto Rico's 60 dead from the hurricane turned into 5,000 dead, which I suspect is closer to 10,000 dead, it just seems clear that our governments on a functional level are extremely outdated and make a lot of errors in a chain of command. Now, this comes from the system, which has been like a giant ball of band-aids for the last 60 years or so. And we've never upgraded our infrastructure. And all of our cities were designed for like the 60s or 70s. Now, this 3-minute lecture has been because we now have a dam in Virginia that could fail. Virginia is somewhere in here. And the green is flooding, flood warnings, flood watches. We've been having a train of rain over the East Coast. Because as I've pointed out in my scientific studies here at THORNEWS, that Mother Nature is forming right here, this thing. It's like an atmospheric river that goes from there to there, pretty much. It keeps trying to connect it. It keeps trying to build it. Here at THORNEWS, I've been documenting it for you since it started. And so I have noted, and it hasn't even fully kicked in, we're just now seeing the effects of it before it has reached its final form. And so, as I have been warning people through my videos, this situation would start to happen, and then we would see our infrastructure start to fail on like domino levels because our government is so goddamn incompetent. And I'm sorry to take the Lord's name in vain, but the writer in me says it is proper to use it there because our governmental system has been damned. And just like the Matrix, it is the system itself. It is not the people. Technically, we're all to blame. But I don't mean to be as preachy as I'm being, but I don't know what else to say after 5.5 years that we have major situations going on. This is Africa. It has been rolling off 2 things. One, giant gobs of dust, which we've seen, which has been protecting us kind of like a shield. from hurricanes. But it has also been dropping gobs of moisture towards us because raindrops need something to form on, and little tiny dust particles are perfect to form raindrops. So that is why we are seeing 400% rainfall rates. That's one of the reasons. There are many reasons. I know a lot of people like to claim they know everything about what is going on and they've got it all figured out and they've got a bumper sticker that describes the situation. But I think it's best to play defense here and continue to study the data, thinking it could be many things that we don't fully understand, because Mother Nature is a complicated dynamic process. Our atmosphere is a complicated dynamic process. The sun is a complicated dynamic process. So we have in Virginia what could be a dam that could break. And last night, a student asked, I go to the college here, am I safe? And I didn't do as much research as I should, and I said, no, I don't think you are. And then when I looked at it, the college is here, the dam is here. No, she's not safe. Ma'am, you are not safe. But here's the thing. For anyone who needs to evacuate from Lynchburg, Virginia, could be underwater 17 feet of water in 7 minutes if the dam fails. So it's a matter of, like, if you're a college student, like even now, surviving off tips, being planetary defense commander, I exist off, like I'm in college again. Although I don't eat ramen noodles anymore. Thank you for that. But so these kids don't necessarily have the money to evacuate. Though I would highly recommend anyone within the area recommend. Now, it took them a week or two to get the charts out for the possible failing dam in California. I don't even remember the name of it, so much has happened since then. But if the whole thing breaks out, that is 17 feet of water in minutes. And that is, I'm 6 foot tall. That is almost 3 times my size. And water, moving water like 6 inches can take a human off his feet or her feet. A foot can move a car. 2 feet can move a semi. The power of Mother Nature is grand. It was like, I don't know, sometimes I get a little screenwriter crazy and I asked, who has more honor, witches or gangsters? Because I was thinking about it, and I thought that at the end of the day, pirates had to respect the sea. And so they always had to have a certain amount of humbleness, because the sea will devour you. As Star-Lord in Thor 7, yes, the ocean I definitely respect. 1,000%. We are a fish out of water when we are in the ocean. And so, I don't know, I was just thinking sometimes witches and gangsters, without having to have the humbleness of the ocean, I guess could sometimes go too far and do stuff that's a bit too crazy, putting the entire family at risk. That was the whole thought process behind it. Like, how can we be letting it get this bad? Where you have a giant heat system in the west, and then we now have the atmospheric river that I've been talking about pretty much lining up. Though no one is calling it atmospheric river, though that's what it seems to be. I guess it doesn't fit science's total technical definition. So as I've been talking about catastrophic flooding possible and going to happen, it is now, we're at the stage. So I would recommend people evacuate, especially if you're anywhere near that. But, and then when that happens, it puts a whole bunch of stress on all the dams all around. You hear what I'm saying? And so this wet pattern we've been seeing is going to continue as heat records are breaking across the world. But then also there were cool records in Minnesota today, I think, somewhere. So things have just been a bit wild. And it's like the natives who lived here, who we of course did not treat well, though I It's like we are weirdly walking a corporate trail of tears now. And so you have to either adjust to Mother Nature as Mother Nature is changing. You have to evolve with Mother Nature. I'm pretty sure you fail. And so, as a kid who's been dreaming of building super cities, cities of the future, let's call them, it is wild to me. Because I've seen the world in unity working together in the future. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that having a good group of people working together is more valuable than any resource, gold, silver, diamonds, crypto, whatever. Having a good team, you can accomplish almost anything. And that most people on the planet are good people. Our system forces people to make a lot of bad choices just to survive. And we all know that at the heart of the day, the world we live in is not fair. The day you were born, you owe your government $190,000. And to even break even as an adult over 18, you got to earn about $18,000 to $22,000. So it is a dog-eat-dog world. We are the consumer and the consumed. And for 5.75 years, I've been asking all people to come together to take a step into the future. And my heed has not been called. A lot of people listen. But we have not made any major improvements that I am aware of. And that this situation is serious. And so, our government has spent $21 trillion in the last, 20 years? On what? What have we built? Man, I could definitely build the coolest city of all time for $1 trillion. I could definitely build a super highway that stretches from the top of Alaska. That connects Russia through Alaska, through Canada, down through Colorado, down through Mexico, Guatemala, all the way down to South America to the Antarctica for $1 trillion. And it could be like a 10-lane highway on either side. Beautiful gardens. Have we built anything like that? No. No, we have not. And so, honestly, I think at this point, it's a lot of the power is in the big power players' hands. That until they make a move, I don't know what we can do, because they are the ones who have their hand on A, the pocket strings, B, the media, where you're not going to get a positive message through at all. Even this failing dam. Like, as your Planetary Defense Commander, when we lose a bunch of people, I take it very personally. Though, we continue to lose people, and I have to continue to work, even though we're not making many improvements as a nation. And so, having gone through the process of watching what was happening in California, that didn't happen but almost did. And we're talking the entire basin of the valley would have been filled. To watching the mudslides that hit, where California grandmothers got killed because they got a 30-minute notice before the mudslide 8 feet tall hit them. It's like 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes to get out before a mudslide hits you, grandma. It'll be about 8 feet tall, coming at about 200 miles an hour. It didn't help. Imagine it just caused fear. And then in Laos, a much poorer country, we've seen thousands of people die because a billion-dollar dam failed during construction. And now, with Virginia and the nation, this is a serious situation, and those are all Americans. I don't care, Democrat, Republican, Christian, atheist, Muslim. We are all one family. And so, I don't know what to say, knowing that this is a very serious situation, to where if that infrastructure fails, you got thousands of people that are going to be inundated with 17 feet of water in seconds and minutes. Students, grandmothers, mothers, children, you name it. And so this is a very serious situation, but if it doesn't fail, like we had one in North Carolina that almost failed but didn't, then a lot of people are out, a lot of money, a lot of time. And so it's another just weird, strange catch-22. But it is definitely a giant warning signal that our infrastructure and our system is super outdated. And that votes in the midterms and votes in the next presidential election are not going to cut it. We all have to work as a team together to come up with new ways to deal with this stuff. We have to put aside our differences or we will fail. And I am a Christian, and anyone who uses God or Jesus Christ as an excuse not to improve this world is a fool, in my opinion. If you use God or Jesus to be weaker or do less than you should be doing to make the future a better place, I don't think that's proper. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, saying Jesus or the rapture is about to happen, so we don't need to be fixing nothing or worrying about the future. It's just a bad idea, man. Like snake oil salesmen and carnies, things like that. I hate to remind you that, since Jesus died and the Holy Bible was written, or the New Testament, every generation thought the rapture was coming and Jesus was going to return during their lifetime. So that is not a great insurance policy, as opposed to doing work in the future and doing work, making plans now and working together. You can't let the old prevent you from creating something better, new. It don't harm nobody. It just helps. Anyway, I love you guys. This is a very serious situation. I don't want to overplay it. But that area is going to continue to get a lot of water, a lot of moisture. We have a volcano erupting on and off down here in Guatemala. We have the Popocatépetl volcano that just erupted in Mexico a week ago, exactly 1 week ago. And coincidentally, between the two, you have a giant moisture stream coming up. And then you have your Pacific moisture pushing through. And then you got your tropical moisture coming in. And we also have a Hurricane Hector headed towards Hawaii. So it is time, a lot of hundreds of thousands of people have been displaced from their homes because of flooding in Asia, monsoon season. And when this pattern shifts, if it be at the end of this month, September, the end of August to September, the next eclipse is the 11th, and that is a solar eclipse. And so that is when the moon blocks out the light of the sun on Earth. So that definitely changes the atmosphere. The Earth gets a break from sunlight during times when it doesn't usually. So I believe that too will disrupt the flow. Plus you have 5 planets going retrograde. I believe the frequencies of the planets affect things. And definitely planetary alignments matter. They aren't all swinging around the sun for nothing. So, this is just to let everybody know that, yeah, the Virginia situation is bad and the raining situation will continue. I'll break down the rain a little later. This was just about the Virginia situation because if it fails, it's a problem. And a lot of people could die. And that most of us live paycheck to paycheck. And so people don't evacuate because they can't afford to. And so, it's weird that you got people who have less than $1 million arguing with each other all the time about politics. And that is like the last we are the people, you know? We don't need politicians' permission to work together as a team. And we are all in this together. And we are all Americans. And we're all the children of God, in my opinion. And so, the only thing I know the government really does is give us debt. And then blame all of the problems on the other side. So you had a lot of moisture that is just streaming out of the Rockies from the heat zone in the west. Showed you the fires. So you got one half flooding and then one half on fire. Where it was, there's your chart. And then that Hawaii could get hit by a hurricane, and Puerto Rico still has like a lot of its power grid down. At what point are we going to start working together? I know that I'm not prepared to sacrifice anyone. And I don't blame any single human being. We're all in this together. It's a system that is shitty. So it's up to us to figure out how to create a better system together. But we definitely need to keep our eye on the Virginia situation. And I will do my best to keep you guys updated and informed. But supposedly tomorrow we're going to get a break from this rain. But the models have been very, very, very inconsistent lately. So it really takes eyes on the actual rain maps instead of the models now. You can see how all this moisture that's still streaming up. So things are crazy. These are crazy days, but I have faith. But we're going to have to work together. All right, everybody stay cool. And thank you again. It looks like I made rent off tips. I don't know. Like every time I get some money sent to my PayPal, I send it to my bank account. It doesn't transfer for like 24 hours. So I did the math, and I think I'm over by like anywhere between $6 and $40. But because I haven't been out in forever, and I haven't really had any fun in 2018, I'm going to go hang out with two of the best composers I know for a margarita. I don't know. Sometimes hanging out with musicians is the best thing ever, and sometimes it's the worst thing ever. So hopefully I'll have some fun tonight. Either way, yeah, I'm kind of going crazy. Because watching all this death and destruction happen needlessly while people argue is pretty frustrating. And so, you're a winner, I'm a winner. So let's start winning again, pretty please. And thank you again for keeping me as your planetary defense commander, and I promise I will do my best to do a better job. Y'all stay cool, and I will talk to you soon.